And welcome back to The Factor Uncensored. A billion-dollar lawsuit could be shaking up the real estate industry as we know it, impacting all of us who may own a home or want to sell or buy a home. A federal judge rules some real estate agents and brokers conspired to artificially boost commissions, their commissions. Now, the lawsuit challenged the way commissions are paid. That's 5 to 6% of the purchase price paid by the seller to their agent. A portion of it is shared with the buyer's agents. Critics say it makes negotiation of the sales charge almost impossible. I caught up with real estate agent Jay Bradley to weigh in on this issue that will change the landscape of real estate forever. So Jay, this ruling from this federal jury in Missouri is a big deal, and it would have some impact on you guys in the real estate industry, whether you're a realtor or you're a broker or the buyer or the seller, right?
Absolutely. It's going to be a big impact.
So when we hear that the jury says it's not fair to the average home seller to have to pay the realtor for the buyer and their realtor, your thoughts on that?
Well, so the biggest thing about this is that our fees aren't fixed. You as a consumer can say, hey, here's what I want to pay a buyer's agent. Here's what I want to pay you as the listing agent. And so this whole thing that they've all conspired to come up with a fixed fee. I've been a member of the National Association of Realtors for 23 years. I've been a broker at RE/MAX. I've been an agent at Keller Williams. And no time during any of that have I ever heard that here's the commission that we're going to charge. So the whole lawsuit in itself is interesting. It's going to make some big changes.
For those who say realtors and brokers and the industry in general, that you guys are getting rich off the backs of the sellers, what would you say to that person?
Our job is our fiduciary duty is to look after our clients. Whether you're representing the seller or you're representing the buyer, the job is the same when it comes to looking out for the client. And from a National Association of Realtors perspective, from a Texas Association of Realtors perspective, and from a Houston Association of Realtors perspective, that's our highest job.
Now, how do you think if this jury award, $1.7 billion, is sustained, and the appeals process for the real estate companies involved is not successful, what do you think the trickle-down effect will be to the average real estate agent and broker? Are you looking at a future with lower fees, and then after that, you see people leaving the industry?
Well, anytime, I've been doing this for 23 years, you're going to see when market shifts happen, you're going to see realtors come in and out of the market. It's part of the ebb and flow of it all. When it comes down to the fees, I think we are going to see some changes. And who's to say that the changes are wrong, right? Mm-hmm. So maybe it looks like there's a fee for doing one part of the deal and another fee for doing another part of the deal. Hey, Isaiah says, hey, I want you to negotiate a contract for me, and I charge you a flat fee for that. Well, if I'm getting paid a flat fee for maybe an hour of negotiation, is that really bad for me? Mm-hmm. You know, so it'll be interesting to see how it is, but the industries are always changing. There's always going to be a disruptor, whether it's new technology or whether it's going to be a lawsuit that changes things. Change should be constant, and at the end of the day, as long as it affects the homeowner positively, I'm okay with it.
Now, there is also the federal Justice Department aspect. They are looking into how the National Association of Realtors and realtors in general do business. Is that of concern to you when you have the federal government saying the process that you may have in place could be unfair to the seller?
Absolutely. So the DOJ lawsuit, or kind of their interest in real estate commissions, has been ongoing. Mm-hmm. I'm a member of the National Association of Realtors, but I'm also a member of HAR's Board of Directors. And we've been talking about this for years and kind of changing things inside to make sure that we're ready, number one, and that we're also being an open book, which we always have been. I mean, the first time that homes were put on the market back in 1998, Bob Hale, our CEO, said, hey, let's go ahead and be open and put all of our houses online. Back in the day, you had to go through a book. We've been at the forefront of doing all these type of things, and I think that this isn't going to be any different.
And for those who are concerned how this will affect or impact home buyers and home sellers, what do you see happening to them down the road if this lawsuit and this jury award sticks and there are forced changes in the industry?
Yeah, that's a great question, Isaiah. So I feel like what you're probably going to see, I'm concerned about the first-time home buyer and how this affects them. If they don't have somebody representing their best interest when they go in to buy their first home, who really helps them? Can they afford to pay somebody out of pocket to say, hey, I need you to come in and help me buy my first home? Or do they need to spend that money in down payment or closing costs? A lot of our first-time home buyers here in Houston are already getting home buyers assistance as far as getting into a home. So how do you find a way to pay somebody outside of that to help you go through the process? That's my biggest concern.
And for those who have criticized the industry saying realtors and brokers are just getting away with murder and making a lot of money, what would you say to that? Could you break it down? Give us a picture of what it's like. Say if someone sells a house, the realtor gets his payment, but the realtor also has to deal with a broker, and then the realtor also has to pay taxes.
Exactly.
And so you go from from a big pot to a small pot. Tell me about that.
It looks like, you know, the griddle that you put on your stove and you do your pancakes and all that stuff. Imagine it starts off as a griddle, and then half of that maybe goes to another party. Part of that goes to your brokerage, and then a third of that goes to the taxes, and the agent or whoever the end broker is actually gets a portion of that, right? And it depends on what your deals are, your brokerage that you're with, what your split is. But at the end of the day, it may seem like a large amount of money, but we're doing a lot of work. And when you break it down, most of my brand new agents come in and they're saying, oh, we're about to make this. And then when I actually do the breakdown, they're like, well, I might as well go get a regular job. So you really have to scale and get a great clientele and be in this business. I wasn't really successful in this business until I got to maybe 4 years of being in it, and that's working 7 days a week. So people work up to that. Very rarely will you find somebody coming in this market and all of a sudden they're this huge top producing agent, and it's only because they did one TikTok video. You know, they've spent years and years on education. They've spent years on understanding what clients needs, technology. There's a ton of money that goes out, and so they should be compensated just like you are for what you do.
And do you see, as a result of all of this happening, plus the federal investigation and that lawsuit, the landscape changing?
The landscape's definitely going to change. I'm always looking at the bright side of things, so I feel like it'll be better. Nobody really knows.